So I'm trying to not make these videos too long, and that's why I'm doing part 1s and part 2s to them. But to piggyback off of what I was saying is, if you don't see a problem, you cannot address it. Yes, there are problems with black women. We all know that. However, black men are the ones that have been preyed upon for years and centuries. And that is because you have to think in terms of overthrowing a community. Whenever someone wants to overthrow a community, they're not going to go to the women. They're going to try to take down the men first. You cannot get to a community without first weakening the men. You can't get to the women, you can't get to the children until you get to the men first. And so the reason I go hard on black men is because you guys are important. You guys are very significant to sustaining our community, and that is why they work so hard to get you into a weakened state that you're in. That's why they got you to where you have black men out here, despite the fact that they're the ones being killed at a rapid rate. Black men are being killed and imprisoned far more and often than black women are, but you have black men out here more focused on weave and contacts and just the dumbest stuff that they can't even begin to fight white supremacy. And the reason they can't begin to do it is because what they said in this book. They're controlling their thinking. They're controlling the thinking of black men, so they no longer have to worry about their actions. And you know, people want to sit here and say, "Oh, what is the evidence of that?" And it's not the majority of them. Yeah, it is the majority. And I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat or tell you what you want to hear just to appease your ego. And that brings me to this. Ladies, stop calling every man a king. Every black man is not a king. And let's just be real. Everybody in Africa was not a king. So here is my thing. You need to be able to determine for yourself, based on a man's thinking, whether he's a king or a peasant. Because let's just be real. So a lot of those people were peasants. I cannot imagine back during the times when they had Egyptian kings and queens, an Egyptian man, while his soldiers are being killed, he focused on the Egyptian women that were wearing wigs. I cannot imagine what king is going to be focused on more on some hair than he is about his men being slaughtered. So whenever you have a man that wants to sit there and focus on the most trivial, superficial things, that's not a king, that's a peasant. That's peasant thinking, and that's why they will remain peasants. Because real kings know how to prioritize. Even if you hate weave, you feel like weave is the scum of the earth. Excuse me. If you think that weave is the worst thing that ever hit the market, that's fine. But a true king is going to look at priorities. And the reality of it is, even if black women stopped wearing weave, if all of them decided I'm never going to wear a track in my life again, I'm not even sewing one track into my hair, black men would still be getting killed and slaughtered at the rate that they're getting killed and slaughtered. Cops aren't killing black men because black women are wearing weave. That's not the case. And so that's when I say they're the peasant slave mindset. These are the men that are your peasants. And so please stop calling them kings just to appease their low self-esteem. That person, calling him a king isn't going to change his mindset, because he's still going to be wrapped up tight in white supremacy. Because the reality of it is, if you can look at every other race of women out there that have long hair, and you can conclude that because a black woman wears weaves or wigs, although we all know for a fact that they were doing this back when there were Egyptian kings and queens. Actually, in Egypt, wearing a wig, and you can look this up for yourself, was a sign of status. And so even though they can know for a fact that these things did occur. They can look at Asian women that have long hair. They can look at Hispanic women that have long hair. They can look at Indian women that have long hair. Even though those are facts, if they can still attach weave to wanting to look white, although there isn't one black woman on earth that is buying European hair. If they can attach that to wanting to look European, then that tells you what's going on in here is what's wrong with their mind, because white supremacy has their mind. White supremacy is controlling their thinking, because again, black people didn't come up with that. Black people did not come up with the notion that if black women are wearing weave, they want to be white. White people came up with that. They came up with the stereotypical image that they felt like black women have to be boxed into. So this isn't thinking that is consistent with black people and black empowerment. This is consistent with white supremacy. Because when I question these dudes and I ask them, okay, hypothetically, what happens if every black woman in the world decides she doesn't want to wear weave? What's going to change? Nothing. We're still going to have the same problems. And so weave isn't, I can't stand these nasty flies. Weave isn't the problem. Your whitewashed mindset is the problem. And that's why I say it starts with our black men, because they have the strength, they have the power, but they're choosing to be dominated and squashed down by a group of people that historically has always feared them. And now they don't have to fear them. I can research a lot of different things and show you where they've had a plan to get your mind in their grasp. And they did that because, again, the mind rules the body. And that's really what it is. You can't cut somebody's head off or take their brain out of their head and then think their body's going to function. It doesn't work like that. You need your mind. The mind is the most powerful thing. And that's why I'm very big on reading. It irritates me that you have Frederick Douglass that went through so much just so that black people could be able to read. And now you will rarely see men, black people in general, reading a book. You will see them, they'll be all over social media, but you won't see them reading a book or anything of substance. All you see is a bunch of superficial stupidity. It's just insane to me. Jordans, Nikes, and Timberlands, most shoes in general. You want to know who the biggest consumer of those people are? The biggest, largest, greatest consumer of those are black men. Do some research and come back and tell me how many of these companies have put 1 cent into empowering the black community or black men. How many of these companies were rallying when Mike Brown was being shot and his body was left in the hot sun rotting? How many of those companies spoke out about that? Because I sure didn't notice any of them. I surely did not. Did you hear Michael Jordan say one thing while his names are on Jordans, where the proceeds are flourishing and stimulating the industrial prison complex? No. But black men are the biggest consumers of those that directly contribute to their oppression, but yet you want to sit here and you want to worry about weave and contacts as if those actually matter. None of Dylan Ruth's victims were wearing weave or contacts and they're still dead. Eric Garner wasn't wearing weave or contacts and he's still dead. Freddie Gray wasn't. Sandra Bland wasn't. None of those people that were killed were wearing weave and contacts. And if you want to show me one that was, please do. Please show me one cop that gave one reason that came out and said, oh, this person got shot because, not because they were resisting arrest or doing something that they should, but because black women are wearing weave. So we have to kill these black men because black women are wearing weave and contacts. Like, that's so silly and ridiculous. Like, for me to even have to sit here and say it agitates me. Because it's like, these are our black men. These are our black men that we're supposed to be submissive to and look at as leaders. Meanwhile, our leaders and our kings are running around worried about stupid stuff. It's like you focused on the dumbest, just the dumbest stuff. It doesn't even matter. You want to run around, you want to have sex with everything, then move. You want to stand in line for 10 years to get Jordans. You want to get with the ratchets. Those are the ones that you want. While you want to sit there and talk about, oh, what about black women being ratchet? Do they not advertise the ratchets in the music that is primarily put out by black men? Because all these black male rappers are, what are they saying? I need to go get me some ratchets. You're not saying I want to go get somebody that I can wife and turn into a wife that can raise my kid. No, I want some big booty ratchets. That's what you want. It's extremely superficial and retarded, really. But these are the people that you guys are calling kings. The same people that you can go on there onto their Instagram and see pictures of Snow Bunny Sundays I didn't see once nobody out there at that Million Man March. I didn't see once nobody protesting Freddie Gray's and Eric Garner's and Mike Brown and Tamir Rice's. I didn't see once nobody doing that. So while you want to sit there and worship white women as if they're any different from white men, because really they're not, your people are getting killed off. While you want to sit there and criticize black women, who at the end of the day are mostly the ones that have your black, for wearing weave, you guys are being killed at a larger rate than we is. You could walk out of your house today and get shot and killed, and there is nothing that would happen about it. But you're focused on weave. And that's why it's like you have a slave mentality. And until you get your mindset back, and until you really empower your mindset, we're going to keep being in this situation. And that's just really what it is. And if you guys want to say, oh, provide evidence, reality is evidence. Because no one is taking black men seriously. So this isn't me just saying, oh, I hate black men, so I'm going to go and I'm going to make these videos because black men need to know how much of garbage they are. No, the truth is the truth. It's not always pretty. It doesn't always sound good. It doesn't always look good, but it's what you need to hear. And that's what you need to hear. Black women is just really waiting for you to get it together. That's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for you to get it together at the end of the day. So you guys can sit there and blame it on black women all you want to. But at the end of the day, if you guys want to be seen as the leaders of the community, then you need to start acting like it. And then when the community falls, you need to take responsibility for it. Because you guys said that you were the kings. When dynasties fall, the kings are responsible for that. When kingdoms fall, the kings are responsible for that, not the women. So you either want to be a king or you want to be a peasant. You just need to choose what you want to do. But right now you're getting treated like peasants. And when you stand up and actually act like kings, then you won't be treated like peasants. And so look at the video that's going to be in the description box. And then, just keep it in the forefront of your mind who you're dealing with. Because if you think that most of these white people don't have that same mentality, then you're choosing to be ignorant, because they do. A lot of white people are merely tolerating black people because there's laws that says they have to. But if you haven't noticed, they're getting bolder and bolder, and they're making more outlandish, oh my God, they're making more outlandish racial statements. They're coming out to show you who they are. You're just choosing to not listen. Like, I'm also going to put a link in the video about the dude who came up missing in Jasper, Texas. Now, this dude was dating Nathan Enner's daughter. Now, if you want to know who Nathan Enner is, I'm going to put that video in there. Nathan Enner is clearly a white racist Klan member in Texas. And he's in a political position. I think he's like a sheriff or something. He's in a political position. But he made a video talking about how to kill black men. So you mean to tell me that this man is that racist and his daughter is with a black man, and number one, he didn't instill those same values in her, and number two, he didn't set that dude up to kill him and she didn't help? You would have to be so far out of your mind to sit there and think that that man is going to be that racist and he's going to stand for his daughter being with a black man. And you have to be so far out your mind if you think she had nothing to do with him coming up missing. Coincidentally, she was the last person he spoke to before going missing, but she had nothing to do with it. It's like, I can't with these people not being able to have critical thinking skills. And that's the beauty of books. Books do something completely different to your brain than television does, or that internet or video games do. Reading a book will teach your brain to think critically. It'll teach you to analyze every bit of information that comes in. That's what your brain does when you read books. Most people aren't reading books, so most people don't have critical thinking skills. So when they go to the news and the media and Facebook threads, they're believing everything that they see on there because they lack the ability to actually analyze that information that they're getting. And that's why I push reading books. And I've always been big on reading books. And it's like, now you have people that can't hold conversations, they can't think for themselves, they can't do research, they can't analyze information, they can't think critically. So that's why you have all these people that you have to explain so much to. We shouldn't be having to waken people up. They should be waking themselves up. You can do the research and read a book, but most of you Frederick Douglass is probably just rolling around over and over and over, just beating the hell out of that grave that he's in. To see it right now, no one wants to read a book, and he went through all this just to get people to read. It's insane. When I think about the state of the black community, it grieves my soul. It really does. Because I wish that I could just snap my fingers and get black men to truly wake up. And most of you conscious black men, you're not conscious. You're really not. The only thing you're doing consciously is perpetuating white stereotypes and rhetoric. That's the only thing that you're consciously doing. You just won't admit to the fact that you're doing it. So, like I said, watch the video. It is very disgusting. It's very just graphic. But watch the video in the link. Like the video, comment on it, subscribe to the channel. This is what I've decided. I'm choosing to spend my time doing this because I'm not going to sit back and watch my community be destroyed and not say something about it. Because the thing of it is if you have knowledge of something, then you need to share that knowledge. And a lot of people don't have the knowledge of who they're dealing with. And right now, even with changing things in the slavery book, they're trying to hide the history of all the evil acts that they committed. And so if it's up to me, I'm not going to let people forget. And you need to not forget either. So when you take that video out of the link, share that video so that everybody can see and keep in the forefront of their mind who they're dealing with. This mentality hasn't gone anywhere. And if you think that it has, you're fooling yourself. But as I said, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll definitely be doing more of these type videos.